Ancient Rome is often remembered for its emperors, grands monuments, and military power, statues carved in marble, triumphal arches, victories engraved in stone. But that was not the Rome experienced by most of its people. This is not the Rome of emperors. This is not the Rome of senators and palaces. This is the Rome of the poor. Every morning, long before sunrise, millions of ordinary Romans woke up inside overcrowded apartment buildings known as insulae. These buildings dominated the city. Tall, narrow, poorly constructed. Many were built quickly, using cheap materials, with little concern for safety. They leaned over narrow streets, stacked floor upon floor, sometimes reaching 5 or 6 stories high. The higher you lived, the poorer you were. Entire families lived crammed into single rooms. One space for sleeping, eating, storing belongings, and surviving. There was no running water, no station, no privacy. The sounds of the city never stopped, shouting vendors, animals passing below, arguments through thin walls, crying children, footsteps echoing on wooden stairs that could collapse at any moment. Fires were a constant threat. A single oil lamp, a cooking fire left unattended, or a spark from a workshop could turn an entire neighborhood into ashes within hours. When fires started, they spread fast. The narrow streets trapped the heat. Wooden beams fed the flames. Many people lost everything overnight, and yet they returned, because they had nowhere else to go. As dawn arrived, the city began to move. Poor Romans started their day early. Very early. Water had to be carried by hand from public fountains. Buckets were heavy. Lines were long, and water was precious. There were no bathrooms inside the buildings. Human waste was often thrown into the streets or collected in shared containers. The smell of the city was impossible to escape. Work was uncertain. Most poor Romans survived through physical labor, construction sites. Docks. Road work, carrying goods. Street vending. There were no machines. No safety equipment. Only muscle, endurance, and pain. A bad injury could mean starvation. Many were paid daily. Some days there was work. Other days there was nothing. Competition was constant. Rome was crowded beyond imagination. Over 1 million people lived within its walls at its peak. Finding work meant pushing through crowds, shouting to be noticed, and accepting whatever task was offered. Food was simple and repetitive. Bread formed the base of most meals. Cheap grain, porridge, occasional vegetables, rarely meat. Street food stalls sold hot meals, but even those were a luxury for many. Hunger was common. Malnutrition was normal. Children grew up fast. There was no protected childhood. From a young age, children helped carry water, assist in work, or earn coins however they could. Many worked alongside their parents. Others were sent to serve wealthier households. Life taught them survival early. Danger was everywhere. Buildings collapsed without warning. Entire sections of insulae could fall due to poor foundations or structural weakness. At night, the risk increased. The city grew darker. Oil lamps flickered. Shadows filled the streets. Crime was common after sunset. Walking alone could be dangerous. When evening came, families returned to their rooms. Cooking fires burned briefly. Bread was shared. Exhaustion replaced conversation. There was no comfort waiting at home. Only shelter, and sometimes not even that. As lamps were extinguished, the city quieted. Tomorrow would be the same struggle. The same uncertainty, the same risks. From the outside, Rome looked invincible, powerful, eternal. But beneath the monuments and marble facades lived millions of people whose lives were fragile, difficult, and easily forgotten. If we want to understand ancient civilizations beyond myths and glory, we must look at lives like these. The lives that built the empire and paid its price. This was daily life for the poor in ancient Rome, that not glorious, not heroic, but real.